Hey there, I'm back, but unlike usual, I'm talking about a TV show. Don't worry, I'm not gonna become some sort of review channel, and I'm certainly not gonna become a review channel of TV shows. But if you've watched my previous videos before, I think you can understand why I'm covering this. Also because it's extremely topical right now. So as I'm typing this, I have not watched a single trailer of this show. Although I have seen many promo images, and for the love of God, get this dude a helmet or like some Fallout 3 in New Vegas power armor. He looks so goofy right now, about as goofy as you look like in Fallout 4 without a helmet. So hey, they already got accuracy points on that. So I've written down a few things that I'd like to not see in this. First off, I don't want to see the characters meet a protagonist. I don't want to see a protagonist. I don't want to hear a protagonist, and I think that's pretty reasonable, and for my reasoning, why is pretty self-explanatory. It's an RPG series. I don't want to see one of these dudes that I didn't make. I'd like to see as little MCU moments as humanly possible. Now, I'm not the #1 MCU hater in the world. No, not really, but I think everyone can agree we're a little bit tired of people making fun of names or anything like that. I really don't want to see anyone go, the Master, that's kind of a dumb name. I think that's a pretty reasonable ask to not have that, or at least have as little as humanly possible if they just can't help themselves. Third thing I don't want to see is any weird lore shit. Like, okay, listen, there's room to add lore, there's room to bend lore. It's not as if this series is without retcon, but I don't know, maybe don't add like a 5th source for super mutants that predates the Master or something. I think we have enough of those. And finally, I really do not want to see people not knowing things they really should know. This kind of shit drove me nuts while playing Fallout New California. Like, what are you talking about? Who thinks the Vault Dweller and the Master are just fairy tales? Are you stupid? Okay, but with all that, I'm gonna go watch the show. I'll be back in a hot minute. Well, I just finished the show, and yeah, that was certainly something. First off, hey, the Brotherhood guy actually had a helmet on more often than not. So hey, that's good. But the show did a lot more than I thought it would. So yeah, I'm gonna have to restructure the video, how I'm gonna play all this out. So instead of doing what I was gonna do, I'm gonna break down this into what I liked about the show as the first half of the video, and the second half will be the spoilers and what I think of them. Let's just say the plot is a little ambitious, and if you've already finished the show, yeah, you know exactly what I mean by that. And if you quit watching halfway through because you saw someone on Twitter say that there was a major retcon in the show, yeah, calm down and stay for the second half. But anyway, what's good? So first off, the main characters are pretty good in my opinion. I really actually like them a lot. We have 3 here. We've got the Ghoul, Lucy, and Maximus. The Ghoul has a real name, but the show insists that we just call him the Ghoul. Oh, and this story's dog meat is here too, if you want to count them. The show has these guys link up and break off at various points throughout the show, so we follow them together and independently at times. As well as we get a lot of flashbacks to the Ghoul's life before the bombs fell. I like how they went with this sort of theme of a low karma character, a neutral character, and a good karma character. The Ghoul is borderline a villain for a good chunk of the show, who's just following the same plot as the other two. Maximus is a good guy, but he has a lot of issues. Like, he lets power go to his head very easily, and he's pretty irresponsible. So he's the neutral karma. Lucy, the Vault Dweller, is a goody two-shoes who doesn't get how mean the Wasteland is. And of course, through trials and tribulations, she is hardened to the harshness of the Wasteland, but never gives up her good spirits. So of course, she is the good karma character. And then there's just Dogmeat, and Dogmeat is Dogmeat. Doesn't care about morality. Dogmeat is just there, being a good little dude. Just like in game, kill whoever you like. Dogmeat will always be there for you. I would say that overall, all the characters had a pretty good balance of screen time, but it felt like Lucy got a little bit extra, you know? The other 2 protagonists always linked up with her, not the other way around. Maximus and the Ghoul were never really together. It was the Ghoul and Lucy, or Maximus and Lucy. So Lucy is kind of the heart of the story, the protagonist among protagonists, which is fine, because they make you not too attached to the others by making the Ghoul just a super asshole. He even eats his friend's ass. And by making Maximus just kind of dumb, just a little bit, but Lucy is also just a little bit dumb too, so they bounce off each other pretty well. When it comes to the show's aesthetic, I think they captured it pretty well, although, of course, it's mostly based off the look of Fallout 4, which seems to be the look that Bethesda is going forward with the series, which has its positives and negatives, but I think they grappled with some of the aesthetic choices of Fallout 4 better than Fallout 4 did, and made their own version that I like better. An example being the Pit Boys they had in the show. If anyone here watching has watched my other Fallout videos, you'll know that the only thing I hate almost as much as the new Nuka-Cola bottles are the Pit Boys in Fallout 4. These giant, massive, plastic-looking brown things have always been a letdown from the glorious Pit-Boy 3000. But these ones that are already for sale at the Bethesda store are kind of like a combination of the two, and thankfully they look like they're made of metal and are a normal size. Although I do find how little the amount of gizmos and gadgets there are on there is a little weird. I mean, compare this to like the Pit-Boy 2000. What happened? Now, I want to talk about the series humor for a second. I like it, but it's really, really fucking weird. Here's an example I took myself. I'll put it on screen right now. Yeah, there's a lot of that, and it's all delivered extremely deadpan. Hell, shortly after Maximus's introduction, there's just a dude straight up jorking it. And by it, let's just say, I mean his peanuts. It's not all dick jokes, it's just extremely out of pocket all the time, which thankfully I think breaks up the flow of the tone in a good way. And yes, they didn't actually rely on MCU level humor, and didn't randomly poke fun at concepts within the universe. They almost had one where Lucy was calling the Western Brotherhood of Steel's mission to use pre-war tech to get pre-war tech to protect people from pre-war tech. A little weird, but I can let that slide because yeah, the Western Brotherhood is a little weird, alright? Eastern Brotherhood on top, go cry about it to your plushie collection, Fallout New Vegas fan 2077. Speaking of fun though, I did like a lot of the little touches the series had. Stuff like characters using the classic 10mm pistol from the old Fallouts and Fallout 4 soon, I suppose, or the inclusion of the sunset sarsaparilla in the background of the first scene in the show. Or in that same scene, they do the whole if the mushroom cloud is smaller than your thumb, you're safe thing. My favorite thing has got to be this part where they linger on this shot for like 3 seconds of what I can only assume is literally just the Fallout 76 Pit-Boy they sell on Bethesda's merch shop. There's another thing this show does that I love, but it isn't a little wink or a nudge like the other ones. It's just a confirmation of an idea that I've been saying for years now. This idea they show settles, or should settle, a lot of arguing, but this is the Fallout community we're talking about, so it isn't gonna do shit. But this show shows that ghouls do come in many levels of decaying. Listen, I thought that the ghouls in Fallout 4 looked too well put together as well, but this show thankfully agrees that there's no reason that all 3 of these looks for ghouls can't coexist together. Although no ghoul had a raspy voice in the show, which was weird, but the games have shown that it's not a total requirement. Just saying to the showrunners,
it's not really hard to get somebody who can do a ghoul voice. I should know, I've done it a few times.
So to end this part, I'll just say that if Bethesda is careful about this, we are looking at a potentially really great and cool way to experience Fallout. And right now, it's just a pretty damn good show. Now, to move on to the spoilers, there's kind of a lot of alarming things as well. Okay, I'm gonna give you a chance to leave if you haven't finished it yet, because I'm gonna say a lot here. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shady Sands got nuked by a Vault-Tec dude who got frozen in a Vault-Tec experiment, but this time the freezing part was on the Vault-Tec side and not the test subject side. Yes, Shady Sands is fucking gone. The NCR collapsed, and the remnants of them who are trying to fix this shit get pummeled into the ground by the Brotherhood of Steel really, really hard. But hey, at least before they get totally pummeled into the ground, they got the power turned back on with cold fusion. But now that's in the hands of the dick-ass Brotherhood. And the whole thing ends on a cliffhanger with the twist villain going to fucking New Vegas, where it appears some shit has seriously gone down. Okay, let's breathe for a second. Yes, I was as shocked as the rest of you that Shady Sands got nuked. I think, too, that it is a little bit much, and I think it is a little weird, a little presumptuous that a fucking Amazon Prime original is making such a massive leap over, you know, like an actual Fallout game. And it does feel like kind of a weird, mean-spirited thing to do to, like, the Vault Dweller. Like, man, he put a lot of work into that. Like, Jesus, I think the NCR collapsing isn't that far of a stretch from where they left off in New Vegas. It's really just the nuking of it. And by who nuked it feels like a bit much to me. But the people who are saying this is some weird jab Bethesda is taking at Fallout New Vegas is just stupid and genuinely parasocial behavior towards a video game studio. For one, the NCR are from Fallout 2. If anything, this would be a jab at Fallout 2. Yes, you should actually play the old games and stop pretending that you do Fallout New Vegas Fan 2077. No, Bethesda does not hate Fallout New Vegas. You need to stop anthropomorphizing a company. Bethesda does not feel anything, as they are a collection of people who work for Microsoft, not a singular person. If you asked the employees of Bethesda and Obsidian what's the best Fallout game, they'd probably all say like Fallout 2, and maybe a few stragglers would say Tactics. And besides, Fallout New Vegas makes Bethesda a fuckload of money. There's this scene later on in the show where Lucy is reading a timeline of the NCR's history, and she sees that it ends with a mushroom cloud. And then she looks over and touches the flag of the NCR, and it holds on this scene for a little bit, while in the background, the Fallout theme is playing. And it was genuinely kind of moving, really. This isn't meant to be some wiping the slate clean of the West Coast. This is supposed to hurt. Okay, enough dick riding for a second. Let's get back to the point at hand. This is still kind of fucking nuts. But I do think that seeing as this show is definitely setting up for a season 2, things can go really well. I'm sure the group of NCR remnants we saw are not the only ones left. And hey, they did get the power back onto the NCR. Top that off, it seems that they're setting up Maximus to reform the Brotherhood from this super dickish state they're in. His boss wants to do some reforms, but he sounded really sinister about it. But what we do know is that he wants Maximus to be his second in command. So yeah, I wouldn't really call it a stretch to think that maybe by the end of the show, Maximus is on top. So if the showrunners play this well, we might be looking at a West Coast with a rebuilt and now humbled NCR, who are probably going to stop the whole Fallout New Vegas business they were up to, and a much nicer, less borderline secondary villains of the show, Brotherhood of Steel. Which, to me, sounds like a good way to set up a game's plot where these two are ready to fight a mutual threat again, like Fallout 2. There's also an Enclave Remnants faction that is only shortly shown, but is definitely very important to the story, but we just don't know much about them or their place in the whole situation here. Because, well, you know, they left a lot of loose ends for season 2. Now, I love the Enclave as villains, but I've said it before and I'll say it again, they need to stay fucking dead. I mean, Jesus, how many times do they need to get their shit kicked in? But their place in the story is so open that they could take this any way at all. So maybe it'll be good. Let's hope. The only two things that I'm super worried about is New Vegas and Vault-Tec. Vault-Tec are very firmly insinuated that they very well could be the ones who started the whole Great War, and the very common consensus is that whoever launched the first nukes should remain a mystery. I'm sure we all thought that Vault-Tec had a hand in it in some way, shape, or form, but most people figured they had about as much of a hand in it as any other government in the world, any other big power. Now, with the language they use, they could very easily spin it in the direction of ambiguity on the whole affair, which I'm sure we're all hoping that they do, but it can also very easily be spun in the other direction. Now, as for New Vegas, man, I have negative zero idea of where this is going. Obviously, things are going to be said that confirm how things went, but you guys got to understand, this is how Fallout operates. The canon ending for Fallout 1 is killing the Master. The canon ending for Fallout 3 is Project Purity. I understand that the plot of Fallout New Vegas being left undecided for so long has cemented the fact in the fans' minds that it is, you know, up in the air. But if we ever got that fabled Fallout New Vegas 2, we would get a canon ending anyways. So you can't be mad that they're doing this, but you can be mad about how they do this, because that is the real thing at stake here. We are looking at three options here: the NCR, Wildcard, and Mr. House, because for crying out fucking loud, you know the Legion was never in the cards. Please stop crying into your body pillow for a moment and listen to me. Just like how the bad endings of Fallout 1 and 3 were never going to be canon, this one isn't going to be either. But you know, to the unwashed people watching this video who love the Legion, fuck it. Maybe they are going to do that, because I wouldn't have expected that they would nuke Shady Sands. So who knows, maybe they will make our mailman a fucking marauder, a highwayman, an extreme LARPer, a no-pants-having expert glazer. Still, I doubt it. The main thing they gotta avoid is any images or detailed descriptions of the courier. I think that's something we can all agree on. We don't want to see somebody else's courier, we want to see ours. Give them a canon ending, I can write around that if need be. I can't write around a canon appearance. But even though I said that, I definitely will if I have to, and Amazon Prime cannot stop me. And with that, this video is over. We are done and out of here. Go follow my art social medias on the screen, and maybe I'll call you cool. Go play a mod I'm in or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, bye.